When reading the Bible, you have to take a big picture look and then look at the details. All the details must fit within the big picture look. How most interpret the Bible is by taking the details and then turning those details into a big picture. And the details must fit within the big picture. You can't see my hands now, but I'm holding them out wide. You have to take the big picture look and then start to look at the details. And every detail must fit under the big picture. What many do is take the details and make those details the big picture. That's why I don't believe in things like the Antichrist and two witnesses, which I've made a few videos about, because that's the details that people have looked at and then tried to make a big picture view of it. But that's not how the Bible works. Even if you're looking at science or any sort of subject matter, you have to take a big picture look and then work your way down into the details. That's why I always say you have to read the Bible all the way through. It will help you first get the big picture look, and then you could start to look verse by verse at the details. When it comes to the Bible, what is the big picture look? Well, I mean, you can go to many places, but the most important place to go to is Daniel, right? But you can start under Abraham, but Daniel is a way to fast forward yourself to the middle. The big picture look starts with Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And I remember a person commented on one of my videos from way back, and what he was saying was that everybody tries to interpret the book of Daniel. But there's nothing to interpret in the book of Daniel. He made it seem like the book of Daniel was so difficult to understand and so many people have taken a crack at it. But the book of Daniel pretty much explains itself. It's not a hidden book. The problem with the book of Daniel is it doesn't fit everyone's narrative. So they make it a mystery or something that people can't understand because they've taken the details and made them the big picture. And so when their big picture doesn't fit Daniel's picture, then Daniel is all of a sudden a hidden book. Let's read the book of Daniel because it's very plain and everything has to fit under this umbrella. So let's start by reading Daniel chapter 2, verse 32. The image, this is about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So he has a dream and he tries to get his astrologers and wise men to give him the interpretation. But only Daniel can understand the dream because Daniel understands dreams like this and interpretations only come from the Most High. Daniel cannot interpret the dream unless the Most High gives him the interpretation. So he has a dream about 4 kingdoms. But in his dream, there are analogies. So let's start by reading Daniel chapter 2, verse 32. The image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou saw till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them in pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. When you read a story like this, you can go so many ways with it because it's a dream about an analogy. So if I just read this alone and tried to interpret it, 30 people would have 30 different interpretations. Daniel explains the dream. There's no mystery. There's no way to run after Daniel interprets the dream. There's just no other way to go. And I'll skip down to verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. I skipped a few parts, but at the end of the day, all these pieces, the image of fine gold was Babylon. And each part, the arms, his belly, and his thighs, all represent kingdoms that have to rule the entire earth. Then it gets down to the legs of iron. And like I said, 30 different people will try to interpret this 30 different ways. But the feet and the iron have to be a kingdom that rules the entire earth. Now, when it gets down to the toes, of course, this kingdom is different than the others. In other words, there are arms of this kingdom. It all is one piece. It all belongs to the foot. So this foot is a kingdom that's going to rule the earth. People will say it's the Catholic Church, and this is an entire kingdom, a system that is set up to rule the entire earth. And what you have to understand about this is that there's no break. One kingdom replaces another kingdom, that replaces another kingdom, that replaces another kingdom, until we get down until where it says in verse 35, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together. And it became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain. Verse 44 explains what this thing is after all four kingdoms are destroyed, means that the Most High Kingdom is next. There's no other way to look at this. That's just the way it works. Like, everything has to be what we read later on. So when we get to the book of Revelation, we have to see that everything has to fall under these four kingdoms. Christ has to come. When the Antichrist came, he has to be part of the four kingdoms. That's where everything goes off, when people start to make these interpretations outside of this. And when we read about the end times is just what leads up to the Most High's kingdom taking rulership. So after these four kingdoms is the end times, is these four kingdoms being destroyed. The last kingdom must be destroyed. That's what end time verses are about. The end times is just about the transition from this last kingdom to the Most High's kingdom, and how the Most High plans on destroying this kingdom. That's it. That's the Bible. After Israel goes into captivity under Babylon, after the Most High pulls them up out of Israel and they go into captivity in Babylon, that's the beginning of the end times. From that point on, from Babylon till now, are the end times. The rest of the Bible is just about the Most High restoring rulership after these four kingdoms. And that's it. Now, whether you believe the Bible or not is one thing, right? So you may not believe any of this, right? Which is fine. First, we need to understand what it actually says, and then we can decide whether we believe it or not, and not follow other people who have just taken details and made them big pictures, and now everybody's confused and the Bible's stupid and I don't believe it. Everything comes under this umbrella. The end times is just about the Most High destroying the last kingdom. And that's where we are now. The last kingdom has to be here. Otherwise, the Bible is fake. And the question is, do we have rulership? Does somebody rule the entire earth? And of course, we do have that. We can see it plainly. Everybody bows to this group of people. They rule it. And how do we understand that? Everybody knows that 95% of the wealth of the world is owned by 5%. The rulership of the world, the money, 95% of the money in the world is run by this 5% of people. And that's all you have to know. So yes, there must be a kingdom. And that's where you get the Antichrist bloodline from. They are in rulership. And all the Antichrist is people who want to supplant the Most High's kingdom. They just want to have rulership. They want their rulership never to end. Each kingdom that was set up never wanted their rulership to end. They wanted to pass it off to their children. And how do we know that? Let's read Daniel chapter 3, verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. In chapter 2, he has a dream about a statue whose head was gold. And then in verse 38, Daniel explains to him, right? So let's read verse 38. And whosoever the children of men dwell, the beast of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and he hath made thee ruler over all. Thou art this head of gold. He is the head of gold. Babylon is the head of gold. The Most High has given him rulership over the earth. And then in chapter 3, he makes a whole statue of gold. In other words, no, I understand your interpretation of the dream, but my kingdom is going to live forever. So not only is the head gold, but the whole body is gold. So he makes a whole gold statue in defiance of the Most High. After that, you have the Persian Mede kingdom. Then after that, you have the Greeks that became rulers. And then after that, you have the Roman Empire, and now you have the extension of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire ended in about 1600 AD, and you see this current kingdom being set up at that same time. This is just a transfer. Sum this all up. We have to take a big picture view of the Bible and then start to look at the details, and the details will give more insight to the big picture. And the whole Bible is about 4 kingdoms, and then the Most High's rulership coming. The end time scriptures is just the details on how the Most High plans to bring an end to the 4th kingdom. And that's it. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.